Hey, I'm Mike Donehey from 10th Avenue North, and welcome to the world's biggest small group. We've talked to a lot of people who have struggled to forgive, and rightfully so. When someone does something wrong to you, it's not fair to forgive them. So where do we get the ability? And of course, Colossians 3:13 gives us some insight. It says, make allowance for each other's faults. Forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, Christ forgave you, so you must forgive others. It's not like, hey, it's a good idea. It's, no, if you're gonna receive grace from Jesus, then you also have to acknowledge that that grace is for other people too. It's not just for you. Like, in a way, if you're bitter to other people while receiving grace for yourself, what you're saying is the blood of Jesus is strong enough for me, but not for you. Or maybe you're saying, well, I deserve to be forgiven, but you don't. Nobody deserves to be forgiven. That's the point. One of the clearest pictures of this for me was my dad had a dad, as all dads do. And my dad's dad, I never met him, but he was an alcoholic, and he beat my dad and my dad's mom, my grandma. One day I was thinking, you know, Dad, it's kind of amazing that you didn't become an alcoholic. It's amazing that you didn't perpetuate that cycle. You didn't beat me. How did you do it? And he said, well, Mike, I was reading in the Bible one day, right after I got saved. This was when he was about 26, 27. He said, and it said I had to forgive people. It said, as Christ forgave me, I must forgive others. He goes, so I wrote my dad a letter that day, and I asked him to forgive me for the resentment that I had toward him. I said, what? Because I've heard of people, going to the person who hurt them and saying, I forgive you. But that's not what my dad said. Not only did my dad release his dad from the wrongdoing, but he also owned his own wrongdoing in it. And amazingly, instead of trying to show how much worse everyone else was, when he owned his own sin, he experienced forgiveness for himself and forgiveness for his dad. So whatever you're struggling with, know that you're not alone to be struggling with it, but just consider this: to forgive someone, you gotta die. Jesus had to die, forgive us, so now we need to die to our right to be offended. We need to die to our right to hold a grudge. We, as Tim Keller said, need to absorb more pain than we inflict, but when we do, that's where freedom's waiting.